What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Thursday, June 10th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. We are 5 short days away from Low Shack in the Bag, back in business every Tuesday here on Pub Sports Radio. Low Shack has been missing in action. The legend, Lodels, somewhere in Brooklyn. Rumors about a tree house. He's been off the map for a long time, and we're bringing him back. Lodels Low Shack. Very exciting. And here on the show, we are winning. We are consistently winning. I did not have a great day yesterday. 2-2 plus 0.20 units. I was very frustrated last night. I was talking it out on Razor Sharpe's horse show. Very frustrated. MLB and all the analysis that goes into it can kind of weigh you down. And I was quite frustrated I felt like I was a deer in the headlights on yesterday's show. I didn't move on the Islanders. Mr Gogster absolutely merked that game. He completely destroyed that game, made huge units, and he'll be on our show today. It was just impressive, and I was just a deer in headlights there. And then I wanted the under. The market was screaming at us that the public was on the over, and the under was going to had all the cash. So the amount of tickets were on the over, and the public was on, the tickets were on the over, but the big cash bets were on the under in the basketball game. And it went up to 225 about 12 minutes before tip-off, and I still didn't pull the trigger. And I'm going to make up for it. But while I was not very good on yesterday's show, you guys were excellent. The chat was on fire. The one thing we destroyed was the Tigers-Mariners game. I hit with the Tigers first 5. Sharpe hit with the Mize over 5.5 Ks. And Matt Randall hit his 4th straight TAINT play of the day. He's now 4-0 since he had to take care of very, very important family issues and lead his family through a character building time. 4-0 that he's back in action. And you guys were excellent. And that's what this show is all about. It's about teamwork and working together, defeating the juice as a group. And you guys were absolutely spectacular. And there has been talk about me focusing too much on the market. And I did feel like a bit of just deer in the headlights is the best way to explain my performance yesterday. But an example, yesterday when the show was over, I'd already bet Padres minus 1.5, which was a loser, and I was putting in my action. So I put in the Dodgers minus 1.5, which was a loser. I hit with Nationals first 5 at plus 140 and the Tigers first 5, which allowed me to go 2-2 plus 0.20 units. But while I was putting in the Dodgers total, it was all the tickets, all the money are on the over, and yet the over moves to minus 105 and then the plus 100. Why? Why would that be? I couldn't explain it. It made no sense. Why? So I didn't bet it. And it saved me $150. Now, could I have gone on the other side of it and completely switched gears? I can't quite do that when I feel like my capping takes me in one direction. But look, the market, I just can't be sitting here stunned by market moves and humming and hawing like I did yesterday. That was a mistake. But studying where the money's going, I think, is helping us. Also, I'm excited to be here. We're running hot. And I'm very thankful to cap with you guys every day. It just brings so much happiness to my life. Let's go. Jacksonville Zoe in the house. There's our guy, Fap Win. Says, my bookie with solo shots in the face with velocity spin rate to make Jose proud. Jose, our man on the 1s and 2s, great casher. He's running hot. He is rolling. Say hey, play of the day. I just looked at and I'm excited about seeing him continue. And I love the angles he's coming from. Jose is adding many layers to the show and many elements that I'm very excited about. I'm very excited for him to work with Pistol Pete Loshak. There's Brian Watson, Raymond Reichart, Nigel Lee in the house. Talk Sports with JT. JT joined us on the horse show last night. By the way, the Wednesday nights I do the horse show, and then I cap pretty late into the night. So I was capping late into the night, and I still had my horse account up, and Pink Eye Genie, spectacular capper, was on the 7 horse in New Zealand. And Chapoose, I think the name was Chapoose. And, I wore the number 7 all growing up in sports. So, and 18, my favorite player in the history of sports is Igor Larionov. I tried to model my game after Igor Larionov, whatever. He was 18 and 7, whatever. But I saw he was on a 7 horse in New Zealand at 2:10 in the morning at 16-1. And I went in on it, and it was a quick $200 score that I probably didn't deserve. Serious business in the house. Nigel Lee says, loving the Marlins, Oakland, and Giants +1.5. Like having serious business rolling with us. And Nigel Lee, loving the Marlins, Oakland A's, and Giants +1.5. I have made 3 bets in MLB, 1 bet in NBA, and I beat a market move. Surprising because I only bet it an hour and a half ago. There's Christopher Gargaro, huge 8-2 over the last 2 days, +5.75 units. Let's keep going. There's Penny Bombs ready to go. Vegas going to finish Colorado tonight. Jimmy, sorry, buddy. It certainly feels that way. And at least I'll be able to shave. This thing. So it certainly feels that way. But I do think, and I'm not going to bet on the game unless we have a real feeling on something. And maybe the Avalanche first period is a look. I certainly don't want to compound losses. And maybe it is the look, now that I think about it. But this is a good character test for this hockey team. I think we're going to learn a lot about these guys. And Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon better step up. It's so funny. All of a sudden, I'm fucking enraged. Nuke Worker, we have missed you. Got a 4-day weekend ready for some afternoon baseball and make some scratch. Let's get it. I love it, Nuke Worker. I love it. There's Fat again. Tony Cobb's ready to go. All right, I'm way behind on the okay, here. Let's just quickly roll through. Ron Lofton, Hustle Wilson, Swervin, Hunter Engelhart, great stuff. Been rolling with us this week. He's a spectacular MLB capper, and he's going to be coming on the show moving forward. There's Ron Lofton. Matty Ice in the house. Just can't wait till Tuesday and Pete being back. Yeah, it's exciting. It's funny. We're not getting him off of another show. We don't know where we're getting him from. He's always been extremely mysterious, and that hasn't changed. Mr. Gogster, spectacular work yesterday. You're just seeing things so clearly, and it's so impressive. Slats 1-0 last night. Then I see Gogster 7-0. And do you see how many plus lines there were? Plus lines. And then the one thing that he didn't have initially on his card that I was like, what about this? The Islanders team total over 2.5. Yeah, over 2.5 at +115. I don't even move on it. Tyrone Coleman ready to go. Ethan Payson says, has he won the war with the Squirrels yet? No, man. No, he'll never win with the Squirrels. No, he'll never win. Taint, New York Islanders, regulation +200 cash. Great job, Brian. Okay. Somehow I cashed and Taint cashed. Got so lucky on the Detroit over. That was wild. There's Truth in the house looking for his bag. We're going to get you that bag. And, okay, very exciting, Sharpe. We don't rush brilliance, man. You take your time. Okay, Michael Knuckles in the house says, love the Brewers team total over 4.5. Give me some feedback, guys. I'm very interested in that game. And look, everybody in here knows my feelings about Freddie Peralta. Everybody does. And Luis Castillo's last outing was impressive, and he's better than his numbers indicate. And I'm only on that first 5 under 4.5. And very interesting about that was that it went down to 4, back to 4.5, went down to 4, back to 4.5 twice. So very, very interesting. Platinum Paul ready to go. Okay, well, let's get to work. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I love this group. There's Ixnizzle, Ohio's finest, Guillermo Zertucci. I mean, so many of my closest friends rolling with us. There's Joey Work, started the work play of the day. Yes, I've been growing it for the Avalanche, and kind of ass clown am I? It'll be gone very soon. I hope not. I hope it just grows and grows and grows. I hope. All right, let's get to work. Thank you guys all for joining us. God, I love this shit, man. It's extremely, extremely enjoyable to cap with all you guys. We work together to defeat the juice, and I really feel that's happening. I mean, I've always felt it was happening, but you know, it's sometimes more than others. And right now, And Nick Schnilzer says, number 7, Kenny Lofton, one of my favorite players. I love it. Yeah, I was a Kenny Lofton fan too. How can you not be a Kenny Lofton fan? Jokic assists and rebounds was over 18.5 at plus money. Beautiful work. Von Polo says, I love the Suns. All right. Jessica Easton says the Avalanche will succeed. Okay. Oh, gosh. Okay, YouTube Everything says, Jimmy, we cashed Detroit half and half on. Yeah, it was great. It was just we're working together. Finally, Spending Penny Bomb says patios open up this weekend. Finally, we've been in lockdown for 286 days. Gavin Henry says Woodbine pops off this weekend on Saturday. I'm so excited about that. Stimmy OG. I like that name. Stimmy OG. New to the show and loving it. Respect. And good to your adopted son, Jose. Ergo Caustic. Now, yeah, I know, the low bag bum edition. Okay. Oh, and Die Hard MMA podcast. PFL action tonight. Bobby Moffett plus 225 and Tyler Diamond plus 300. I'm going to leave that up there for a second. And we're going to let Jose on the ones and twos take over it takes over everything. He's such a great producer, but take over the chat now for us and run there. All right, let's get to work, you guys. So we're coming off a 2-2 day plus 0.20 units. So we're 143 and 119. We're hitting at 54.6%. We're plus 7.89 units. That could go away in one horrible night or two bad nights. ROI plus 3.01%. Average line minus 112. The average line, the VIG is too high. We heard from Hunter Engelhardt, who's such a strong capper, when that total from 4.5 went down to 4, he said he liked it better at the plus line at 4. And I said, I want the 4 not to be a push, but to be a casher. And maybe I've been thinking quite a lot about that little back and forth ahead with Hunter Engelhardt because I'm staying off of plays when it moves that half run. And look, I'm hitting at 54.6%. Why am I not double-digit units up? So some issues there. The Czar says, I got my WNBA pick tonight loaded and ready to go. Please make sure we have that up on the screen so everybody can see. Okay. And shout out to also Die Hard MMA podcast, our guy Clint. Man, has he been so strong in NHL also over the last little run. He's been all over the Islanders. Okay, we get to work. We have afternoon action. We start at 12:35 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Dodgers 36-25, 17-15 on the road at the Pittsburgh Pirates, 23-37, 13-18 at home. We're at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 77 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 5 miles per hour in. We have Julio Urias on the mound, the lefty, the highly thought of lefty, who has not been looking as good of late, but he's coming off a nice start at the Braves. Overall, he's 8-2, 3.48 ERA, 0.97 whip. The whip is still very good. The K to walk ratio is elite, 80 Ks to 11 walks, and 72 1/3. He's allowed 9 home runs, which is more than he usually allows. Last start at the Braves, he went 5 innings, allowed 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 home run, 2 walks, 5 Ks, and a 9-5 win. Mitch Keller on the other side, 3-6, 6.65 ERA, 1.72 whip, 44 2/3, 48 Ks, 26 walks, 6 home runs allowed. He's not looked good, and they have a very quick leash on him these days, and this Pirates bullpen is very good. So last start, they let him go 2 innings. He allowed 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 2 Ks, and he was pulled, and they won the game 9-2. So he'll get pulled immediately if there's any kind of issue. Dodgers are hitting 246, 758 OPS versus righties, and that number's going down. Thank you, Mitchell Landers. I do think I was just a little bit of a deer in the headlights is the best. I was a little too I wasn't pulling the trigger, and but thank you. That helps. It helps me to hear that. And there's Eli Najera says, "What up? So close to hit that pick 4 last night for you." Well, you know what? You hit it, so that makes me feel better. But yeah, $1,500 pick 4 with my final cut. I lost it. All right, Dodgers run line here, says Matty Ice. Gerardo Hernandez on the Dodgers minus 1.5. Pirates are hitting just 211, 628 OPS versus lefties. Dodgers bullpen is improving. We expected them to be very good this year. They came out of the gate poorly, but they're moving in the right direction quite quickly. 3.68 ERA, 1.27 whip. They've converted 20 of 35 save opportunities. So we'll start with the market move, and then we'll see where the money lies. So here we go. The Urias Keller spot Dodgers and Urias opened up at minus 205 at Pinnacle, now minus 229. So a 24-cent move over to Urias. And this total has gone from 9 to 8.5. Interesting there. Let's pull up the batter versus pitcher data. And I imagine there won't be a ton of it. Against Urias, they've had 11 at-bats. They're 2 for 11 with a single and a double. So 182, 580. And only Pujols has seen Keller 0 for 3. So not a lot of help there with the batter versus pitcher data. Let's go to the market here from Sports Insights. And we see, look, all the money. 96% of the tickets on the money line are on the Dodgers. 97% of the cash. This is with 6,493 tickets. 97% on the minus 1.5 or plus 1 are on the Dodgers. And 99% of the spread money on the Dodgers. And the total has 54% of the tickets on the under, but 61% of the cash on the over. Very interesting. So money coming in on the over probably right now. Probably moves down to 8.5 and money comes in on the over. Platinum Paul says Pittsburgh team total under first 5 maybe. Juju says take Dodgers run line first half. Let's see if that's going to be available from... Yes, my book. It looks like it is today. These assholes. Let's just see what that is. The alternate 5 innings line right now is minus a half of minus 165. Makes sense. I get it, but I can't do it. I don't want this. Pittsburgh bullpen's very good. It's an afternoon baseball game. Very early start for the Dodgers. I mean, we're starting at 9:35 a.m. for their body, right? I mean, this is a West Coast group. No, I mean they've been out on the road for a little bit, so it's not that bad. A Viper says I want the over because Keller is a bum. Then also, if you focus on the Dodgers team total over, it'll be too expensive. Who banging sports talk in the house? DJ Big Boss, whom we love dearly, says I love Urias, but I don't trust Dodgers in the early game. This isn't something that interests me. Because my book wasn't giving me the Tigers first 5 minus a half yesterday. I waited all day for it too, and at 5:30, I finally pulled the trigger on the Tigers first 5 at minus 145, and I was angry that I had to take it at minus 145. There's Emily J. Blunt in the house. Says Pirates minus 1.5 at plus 379. When Dodgers lose, they lose by the run line. I mean, that might be the sharpest look of all. And keep an eye on Emily J. Blunt and the moves that. I believe it's he, but I don't know. But very strong capper. There's Robert Allen. Great to see you. Okay, so it's no move for me here in Dodgers Pirates. Let's go to the move I did make. Now, I found it. I tried to make sense of the move from 4.5 to 4, 4.5 to 4. And what I thought was that if you go to in the Brewers Reds, I love Freddie Peralta. The guys in the chat know that. And when I look at Freddie Peralta's numbers against the opposition, I take it sort of with a grain of salt, but the Reds have historically hit him. And I think that's part. So I think it's the Reds hit Peralta and Castillo's having a bad season. You put that together, that when that 4.5 goes down to 4, there's probably some sharp action on the over. And then it goes to 4.5 again. And then there's probably the public on the under. And then it goes down to 4. And then sharp action puts it back up to 4.5. So I got it at 4.5 and minus 120. Let's just see where it is right now before we break down all the numbers and stats, just out of my own curiosity. This full game total has gone from 8.5 to 8. And the Brewers have gone from minus 120 to minus 110. So a 10-cent move over to Castillo. And legitimately, I think that we're going to be getting value on Castillo moving forward. I think he's figured himself out. Now, I don't have a spin rate to back that up right now, so maybe I probably shouldn't say it, but we're back at 4. Okay, that's a good sign. So I got the under 4.5, minus 120. We're back at 4. So let's just see what Bet365 is doing with this spot here. First 5 is at under 4 is at minus 105. So that's great. Okay, so that's good. Robert Allen says Luis Castillo actually slowly starting to pitch better lately, guys. Pull this, pull that's on the under. And Steve Zang's back with us. Steve Zang, sorry about yesterday. I was frazzled, man. I wasn't pulling the trigger on enough, and then you asked me right after a game where I made 2 moves, and Sorry, Steve. Sorry, buddy. Okay. Look, and I wouldn't rest my ball sack on the bridge of your nose, Steve. I was just upset. Okay, Milwaukee Brewers 34-27, 17-12 on the road at Cincinnati Reds 29-30, 13-15 at home. We're at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. 78 Fahrenheit, overcast 3 miles per hour. In Freddie Peralta, great season. 6-1, 2.25 ERA, 0.88 WHIP, 64 innings, 92 Ks, 27 walks, 6 home runs. In his last start, he was excellent. We cashed 7 1/3, 1 hit, 1 earned run, no homers, 3 walks, 9 Ks, and a 5-1 win at home versus Arizona. Going up against Luis Castillo, and the public is going to see these numbers: 2-8, 6.63 ERA, 1.66 WHIP, 58 1/3, 53 Ks, 24 walks, 9 homers. And they're going to believe this is a bad pitcher on the mound. And the Sharps aren't. In his last start, he looked good at the Cardinals. Rivalry spot, confidence-building spot, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 home run, 1 walk, 5 Ks, and a 6-4 win at the Cardinals. Brewers don't hit righties. 209, 655 OPS. The biggest advantage in this game is the Reds' ability to smash righties while the Brewers don't. And then the Brewers' advantage is their bullpen, 4.33 ERA, 1.34 WHIP, while average is much better than the Reds' bullpen at 5.81 ERA, 1.46 WHIP, 14 of 22. Sharpe says Luis Castillo is the second worst first 5 pitcher, 3-8-1. A lot of people lost a lot of money on Castillo early in the season, no doubt about it. There's Dan Kelly in the house, spectacular NBA capper. And Dan Kelly, not sure if you know, but starting every Tuesday moving forward is Low Shack in the Bag, back in business here on Pub Sports Radio. Says kicking ass in NBA lately. I'm only betting live. A couple nights ago, I hit Jazz plus 6.5, got that in the first quarter. Then early fourth quarter, I got Clips plus 5, hedged out of risk, and got a big winner. Best of luck. I love it, Dan. And he says all about rested Jazz coming out slow versus Game 7 series. Just played. Look to take advantage of those type of playoff situations. Oh, God, I love working with Danny. There's Coco Bongo in the house, OG low bagger. Okay, so, and Gerardo Hernandez on the Dodgers, Milwaukee, Oakland parlay at plus 339. Robert Allen says, I actually like the Reds a lot in this spot. They're playing pretty good lately. I can understand that. And Hunter Engelhardt says, stay away from backing Castillo here. So let's go over to the batter versus pitcher, which we talked a bit about. Freddie Peralta, against them, they're hitting 278, 889 OPS. So they're 15 for 54, but 9 of those 15 hits are for extra bases, 7 doubles and 2 home runs. Luis Castillo, he gets these guys. He knocks them. 212, they're hitting 674 OPS. And Avisail Garcia is the only one who really looks good against them. I mean, Adames 1 for 2 with a single. But Avisail Garcia looks good against them. Yelich just 4 for 18. Travis Shaw, 3 for 16. Yes, Dan Kelly, every Tuesday, Low Shack in the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Under Engelhardt says his splits against left-handed batters are very bad. Brewers have a bunch of left-handed hitters in the lineup. These are the 2 games that are very early, so we have the lineups here ready to go. So why don't we pull them up and take a quick look? We do have a great advantage of only having 10 games on the card, so we can spend more time on NBA and NHL. Confirmed lineup for the Brew Crew: 4 left-handed batters, Vogelbach and Yelich, 2-3. They both don't hit them. Vogelbach 0 for 3, so tiny sample size. That doesn't help. But Yelich is 4 for 18. Now, it does have a double in the home run with those 4, but that's a 222 batting average, but an 861 OPS. And then the other lefties are Jace Peterson, whom I don't think can hit very well. And then Jackie Bradley Jr., who very talented athlete, but struggles with the stick. Against the Reds, they have India, Winker, Castellanos, Naquin, Votto, Suarez, Barnhart, Farmer. For that Dodgers Pirates lineup, you have Betts, Muncy, Turner, Bellinger, Beatty, McKinstry, Lux, Barnes. And then for the Pirates, Frazier, Hayes, Reynolds, Stallings, Evans, Gonzalez, Tom, Newman. All right. And Puzzler says neither pitcher has a very high spin rate. Interesting. Brian Watson shouting out TAINT, and Max on record giving a shout out to Jose with his new graphics. There we go. Oh, and Hunter Engelhardt says that paired with his left-handed batter splits and Brewers seeing him for the second time this year is not a good combo. Very good. Hunter Engelhardt's extremely sharp. Sterling Gentry taking Yelich for 2 hits tonight. And here we go. There's our Washington Mystics -5.5, 5 Czar lock. 5 Czar lock from our man, the Czar. This is exactly what I'm talking about. How we work together to defeat the juice. Everyone helping out. Nobody asking for anything in return except fatter pockets for all of us. Success. That's what we want. We want us all to, we want to help with a mortgage payment with beautiful, beautiful angle-driven bets. Pay for a car payment with a gorgeous bet. All right, so I'm on the first 5 under 4.5 and minus 120. I'm happy that I beat the market move. It's kind of a tricky thing to beat the market move with Bet365 because they wait so long to put out their first 5. So I'm happy about that, but I'm not sitting here ridiculously confident. Let's move on to 1:05 p.m. Eastern. That is next up. We have the Atlanta Braves. So let me just move this here. We have the Atlanta Braves, 29-30, 12-13 on the road at the Philadelphia Phillies, 29-31, 18-12 at home. What up, Eric Jones? Welcome, my man. And Hunter Engelhardt says also to add, which is a big one, is Brewers are top 10 in walks per game, and Castillo has had location problems this year. Yeah, 27 walks in 64 innings. And that, look, so imagine, so no one's hitting him. He's a 0.88 whip with 27 walks in 64 innings. I mean, nobody's hitting him. And Dan Kelly says, JTB, let me know when you can get out of the prison they call Canada. I'll host you and Pete live in person from, wow. Halfway between New York City and Toronto. I guarantee fun. Wow. Consider me interested. Consider me very, very interested. There's Hako Schofield in the house. Look at all these. Oh, geez. I've run one since I started. It's very exciting to see everybody here. Okay, let's go. Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 80 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 11 miles per hour in. We have Ian Anderson versus Zach Wheeler. Let's move over here. So the first 5 at 4 went down to 3.5. And my initial thought was to take that first 5 under. But what I remember seeing was an initial market move that thought Anderson and Wheeler might get touched tonight. So I got, that was my plan, and I cut it for the initial action that came into the book. So I'll have to go over all this stuff and remind myself, because this full game total has gone from 8.5 down to 7.5, and Wheeler has gone, and the Phillies have gone from minus 132 just to minus 137. So just a 5-cent move over there. All right. So Ian Anderson, 4-3, 3.64 ERA, 1.23 whip, 59 in the third, 65 Ks, 25 walks, and 6 home runs. In his last start, he went 4 in the third, allowed 1 hit, 4 earned runs, 0 home runs, 3 walks, 6 Ks, and 9-5 loss at home versus the Dodgers. And he was rolling in that game. He went through the first 3 innings unscathed and then got hit in that 4th inning. Zach Wheeler, 4-3, 2.51 ERA, 0.94 whip, 82 in the third, 100 Ks, 18 walks, and 7 home runs. In Wheeler's last start, he looked good. 7 in the third, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 home run, 2 walk, 8 Ks, and a 2-1 loss at home versus the Nationals. He's going 7+ innings every single start and saving this weak bullpen. Phillies bullpen, 4.47 ERA, 1.37 whip, converted 14 of 26 save opportunities. And that's actually better than the Braves bullpen, 4.78 ERA, 1.41 whip, converted 12 of 22 save opportunities. Stephen Gomez, everyone working from home? It's being recorded? Yes, Stephen, welcome. Oh, and there's Gas Station Sushi in the house. I gave Gas a little shout out yesterday before he got on the stream, but I really mean it. I really mean it. I mean, who do you look up to? I look up to professional sports bettors that are raising a family and are paying their mortgage through their action. And I look up to our friend Gas Station Sushi, whom I love dearly. Okay, so the Braves' big advantage is how they hit righties, 235, 752 OPS. Phillies versus righties, 230, 679 OPS. There's Jam Man in the house from Montreal. I don't see enough of Jam Man. Great to see you. Okay, let's go. Baseball data. Against Anderson, they're hitting 265 with an 876 OPS. So they're 13 for 49. 5 of those hits are for extra bases. 4 of those extra base hits are home runs. So average, middling batting average, but nice power. Against Zach Wheeler, these Braves hit him. 273, 874 OPS, and we're talking a big sample size. 39 for 143, 8 home runs, 10 doubles. 10 doubles. So let's go to the lineup quickly. Is anybody missing? For the Braves, Acuna, Freeman, Albies, Riley, Swanson, Almonte, Enciarte, Kevin Smith. For the Phillies, we have Herrera, Segura, Harper, Hoskins, McCutchen, Williams, Knapp, Torres. So let's go see where the cash is on this spot. For the money line, we have 53% of the tickets on the Phillies, 76% of the cash. And here we go, 56% of the tickets on the over and 48% of the cash. So it's a pretty 50-50 spot. Thank you. Oh, Jesus, I can't. Rabbit and turtle entree from Truth. Okay, thank you. I just want you to sweep. And Mr. Gogster says, we got some legends in the chat today. We do. Hunter Engelhardt says, weather going to impact the home run ball. 11 mile per hour in is the weather. No doubt about that. But also the opposition has success against these pitchers, and I'm pretty comfortable not being on this game. Hunter Engelhardt says, I'm on the Phillies first half minus a half. Got to play the momentum with Walkoff and Wheeler on the mound. This game for the series win at home. That makes a ton of sense. But I guess, and there's different ways of looking at Wheeler right now. So we got a pitcher on the mound who's got a 2.51 ERA, 0.94 whip, and 100 Ks and 82 and a third. And yet he opens up at just minus 132 at home. Strange. Very, very strange. Why would that be? And then we go to how Pinnacle opened this up. It's just been middling all day until 9:20 in the morning, a move towards the Phillies, and that's come back. So they got it up to minus 145, and the Braves up to plus 133, and it's come back to plus 127. Look, you have an ace on the mound who's being hit by the opposition. He should be a bigger favorite. He isn't. So it's tricky. Fat Wally, much love to you, my man. So nothing for me. The Yellow Jesus probably says fair price in my eyes. Okay, so nothing for me here on the 1:05 p.m. start. I've made 3 bets. Only one that we've gone over so far. That was that first 5 under 4.5 and minus 120 in the Brewers Reds. We move on to a double up spot for me. And I was surprised that the market moved, and I got a really nice spot on it in this next game. Mariners, Tigers. I got the Seattle-Detroit over 9 at minus 120, and I bet that 2 hours ago, somewhere around 9 to 9:30 in the morning. And that's not generally time where I would expect to beat a market move, but it's now at 9.5 at a pick'em, which I find interesting. And then the Tigers have taken money. So I beat one market move and I lose the next market move. Now, I find that extremely interesting. So it's a 10-cent move, I believe. I got the Mariners at minus 115, and now I would get them at minus 105. So let's talk P-Dog. Yeah, they hurt a lot. Gas Station 2 said, Jimmy, laws being made right now about decreasing spin rates on some of these pitchers since the foreign substance investigation. My question is, how much is enough to change effectiveness? You know, it's been great, Gas, because we have Jose focusing on spin rates right now, studying who's falling, who's dropping. And you know who else is doing it? Is Sharpe. So we got Sharpe and Jose really focused on that. So we got 2 of our best men on the job. So I'm looking forward to it a lot. North Ender said, I missed the breakdown on the Brewers game. The line smells fishy as fuck to me. Anyone else? Yeah, I mean, the market move to the Reds kind of makes sense to me. But we had Hunter Engelhardt talk about the Brewers in a spot where he thinks that they can do some damage here. And I'm just on the under 4.5 minus 120. The Czar said, I told you about Castillo's spin rate this year. Early in the season, he dropped big, but today maybe he gets it back. And Hunter Engelhardt says, double dip for less money on the first half run line or 4-game run line on Seattle then. Well, okay, so let's talk about this. So I wanted the over, and I've always liked or had high hopes for Justice Sheffield 5-4, 4.77 ERA, 1.57 WHIP, 54 2/3, 42 Ks, 23 walks, 7 home runs on the season. And he's coming off a good start. 5 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. There were 2 solo shots, 3 walks, 7 Ks, a 6-2 win at the Angels. The weather is 8 miles per hour in, so that's going to help the pitchers. 82 Fahrenheit at Comerica Park in Detroit, and the Tigers are 14-16 at home, Mariners 14-18 on the road. It's a bullpen day for the Tigers, and you take their best bullpen piece in Fulmer out, and that bullpen's being taxed, not as much yesterday after Mize' start, but they did go to extras, and it's a taxed bullpen, and I don't trust them. Now, this has hurt me in the past. When I've expected a bullpen day to go awry, and it's worked out for the team. But I don't trust this bullpen, and I've also been saying that the Tigers are going to start hitting lefties harder. Right now, 222, 628 OPS, but we all remember when that OPS was in the high 4s. Tyler Alexander, he's been an opener in 1 game. In his last appearance, he went 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, no Ks, no walks, the 9-8 loss at the White Sox. The Czar says Tigers have Derek Holland in the pen. They are so bad, both bad pens. Yes, the Mariners bullpen started out excellently. And when the Red Sox Mariners bullpen started out so strong, I was like, I just didn't buy it. Then they both started falling off, and then the Red Sox got their act together, and they do have a really strong bullpen. This Mariners bullpen's not looking good of late. 4.27 ERA, 1.25 WHIP. And Desar says Haas sat out yesterday, goes off today. Tigers bullpen, 5.25 ERA, 1.52 WHIP, converted 13 of 22 save opportunities. So let's go to the market here. So we've seen the market move towards Detroit and move towards the over, and let's see if the money follows that idea here. And we have now we only have 1,967 tickets, so let's not get too caught up in what the market is doing here. But 54% of the tickets are on the Tigers and 52% of the cash on the money line are on the Tigers, and then the over under has 51% of the tickets on the under and 69% of the cash on the under, and that concerns me. Maybe it was. I'm hoping that the bulk of that came in when it moved up to 9.5, but that concerns me. So I beat a market move, and I'm a little nervous about. I feel good about the Mariners spot, but I'm a little nervous about the under. Okay. Let's go. And Desire said, Jimmy, you're so right about the Peralta. It says he's an ace. Yeah, we had that fun discussion a month ago. David Norris says Nets at plus 137. Seems like Book is begging me to take Brooklyn this morning. Well, I'm on the Milwaukee Bucks, and I can't wait to talk about that game. Jerry Beatty says Peralta negative regression, Castillo positive regression. Simple. It's well put. Okay. North End says I love the Brewers there, man, but the line scares me. Yeah, the line should no doubt scare you. And we have a lot more tickets in on that game, by the way. Now we have 5,384 tickets, and we have 21% of the tickets on the Reds, 23% of the cash in the line moving towards the Reds direction. So we know what we think about that. And Ron Crawford says Castillo 365 BABIP, batting average of balls in play. He gets lit up. That's coming down. It's coming down. Okay, so we move on. Yes, Truth. The Czar gave us his 5-star WNBA play of the day. It is the Mystics minus 5.5. Washington Mystics minus 5.5. Maybe my first WNBA bet of the season. Okay, so let's move on from the Mariners game, and that concludes your afternoon action today. So all of my action is in the afternoon. I have the first 5 under 4.5 in Brewers Reds. I have the Mariners money line, and I have the Mariners Tigers over 9. And Michael Knuckles says, glad I watched the show before I placed any bets. I'm off the Brewers now. Yeah. North Ender says Brew Crew should be easy minus 140. Yeah, no, the red flags should arise. And another thing that we've learned from Pistol Pete Loshak that you might want to do, Michael Knuckles, and I haven't done this, but maybe it's something I should do as well, is he also tracked his leans. So he had one spreadsheet for the games he bet. He had one spreadsheet for his leans. It's important to know if your gut feeling that you don't move on has a positive ROI or a negative ROI. Okay, let's move on. Robert Cherry, the first 5 minus a half for the Dodgers and K's over 7.5. And Milwaukee, first 5 minus a half K's over 7.5. And Phillies, first 5 minus a half K's over 6.5. I like it. Okay, and here we go. The taint play of the day is in. I repeat, the taint play of the day is in. Taint play of the day, Colorado, Miami, first 5 over 4. I got it at 3.5 at BetMGM, but over 4 is show official taint. 4 straight winners for Matty Ice. So let's get that in right now. I love that because Rockies hit 276, 783 OPS versus lefties. And I was scared to move on it because of how good Trevor Rogers has been. And Chi also. Okay. Let's go. Taint alert, says North Ender. Okay, let's get back to work here. And we'll break that down in due time. Next up, 7:05 p.m. Eastern, San Francisco Giants, 38-23. God. I'm continually shocked every time I talk about this team's record. 20-14 on the road at the Washington Nationals, 25-33, 13-15 at home. Brian Watson, that WNBA 5 czar lock is the Washington Mystics minus 5.5. 77 Fahrenheit, rain, 8 miles per hour, sideways out to left. Why don't we quickly move over to Ronnie Garcia, the primary, by the way, in the Tigers game. Let's move over to this. 41% chance of rain, so it doesn't have the red over the game. Yeah, this is our 4th straight, and he's hitting on this show. He's now 25-14. Just pull it up right here. He's now 25-14, hitting at 64.1% on the show. Okay. Disclafani, 5-2, 3.51 ERA, 1.11 WHIP, 66 2/3, 58 Ks, 20 walks, 8 home runs. In his last start, he went 6 innings, allowed 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 home run, 0 walks, 4 Ks in a 7-2 win at home versus the Cubs. Maximus Scherzer on the other bump, 5-4, 2.22 ERA, 0.82 WHIP, 77 innings, 104 Ks, 15 walks, 11 home runs allowed this year. A lot of home runs for him. They're barreling up on him, but still 104 Ks and 77 innings is very impressive. My pleasure, Brian Watson, my man. Last start for Scherzer, 7 2/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 0 home runs, 1 walk, 9 Ks, and a 2-1 win at the Phillies. That was the Scherzer matchup. It was a beauty against Wheeler 5 days ago. Okay, so Giants versus righties, 231, 735 OPS. Nationals versus righties, 239, 765 OPS. That doesn't make sense. Isn't it a Nationals number like that versus lefties? The Nats don't hit that against. Sorry, are the Nationals really hitting that against lefties right now? Why does that not just? If they're hitting against like that against righties, and we know what they're doing versus lefties, how could they possibly be 25-33? Sorry, I have to look at this very, very quickly. It just. How could they possibly be 8 games under 500 if they're hitting the ball that hard? And they have Scherzer. I'm just going to very, very quickly double-check this stat here. No, it's wrong. Of course it's wrong. That's what they do against left. Washington Nationals versus righties are hitting 252, 690 OPS. I apologize there, 252. 690 OPS. They're 8 games under 500. Giants bullpen 3.55 ERA, 1.116, 23 of 37 converted save opportunities. Nationals bullpen 4.17 ERA, 1.30 WHIP, converted 11 of 17 save opportunities. Sharpe says Scherzer is a prop bet I'm looking at. I want an 8.5. He is 75% win percentage for his top 10 K team. San Francisco is number 5 in K percentage, but I'm concerned about rain. You should be concerned about rain there. 41%. The weather has to be studied further if you want to pull the trigger there. Okay, so let's take a look at the market here in the San Francisco Giants game. The total opens up at 7. It moves to 7.5. And Scherzer taking big money, 20 cents at Pinnacle, minus 158 to minus 178. And he's as high as minus 190 over at Sports Interaction. Now, let's go to batter versus pitcher here in this Giant spot. We have Desclafani. They're hitting 270 with a 769 OPS, 31 for 115, big sample size. Big sample size. And then against Scherzer, 56 at-bats. They're 10 for 56. They're hitting 179 with a 604 OPS. So this total has gone from 7 to 7.5, and the Nats are taking money. Let's move over to the cash and see if we can follow it here. We have, where is it here? We have 45% of the tickets on the Nationals, but 67% of the cash, and the market moving towards them. So clearly some big bets from sharp bettors on the Nationals, part of the 20% market move towards them. Then we have 34% of the tickets on the under, but 75% of the cash on the under. Now, the under has moved from 7 to 7.5, so it is kind of confusing to try to decipher exactly when that money was coming in. And there we go, Anthony Witherspoon, our guy Anthony Witherspoon. Thank you for sharing your hard work with us. Claxton points over 3.5 at minus 135 play of the day. That's good. MMA Locker Room says rain, snow, or hail. I'm on max. I get it, but what happens if the rain falls in the 4th inning and there's an hour and a half break? What happens if there's a 2.5 hour break? Well, then he doesn't come back out. So, and Robert Cherry says, catch my jack of the day yesterday with Kyle Seager. I'm 3-1 with this prop. Tell me, guys. Robert Cherry, absolutely. Because those are big plus money spots. Virl Video says, boom, baby. Easy parlay. Dodgers, Marlins for him. So, Giants, Nationals, the impending rain is probably Ty Clinton. We start at 11 a.m. Eastern, Tuesday through Friday. And every Tuesday it's low check in the back. The impending rain is going to keep me off of this at this point. Let's just go to the weather right now quickly and just see when they expect the rain. Let's just do this very, very quickly. Because I remember that it wasn't supposed to rain throughout the whole game. And that's why it's at 41% expected. So the game's expected to go. So it's raining to start the game. Yeah, I can't do it. So I can't trust the situation there. All right, let's move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. We have the Colorado Rockies, 25-37, 5-23 on the road at the Miami Marlins, 26-35, 13-13 at home, and we get to TAINT. The TAINT play of the day is the Colorado-Miami first 5 over 4. First 5 over 4. Let's get everything set up. We'll move back to batter versus pitcher. First 5 over 4. So let's move over to first 5 here. See what Pinnacle has done with this spot. Chris says June stash. No, this is for the fucking Avalanche. So very likely I show up freshly shaved for tomorrow's show and angry. Freshly shaved and angry. Okay, here we go. Rockies, Marlins, first 5. Wow, he got that 3.5. It opened at 4 at Pinnacle. Why don't we see what Bookmaker's done with their market movement here? Wow, great work finding a 3.5 at BetMGM. So Bookmakers kept it at 4, and he still likes it at 4. He says over 4 is official TAINT. Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. Another issue I'm having, and I'd love it if somebody would be able to shed some light on the roof status of Marlins and Brewers baseball. I know there's a hotline you can call from Milwaukee, but I find getting the information on the Marlins roof is very difficult. I just expect it to be closed because it's humid right now. 80 Fahrenheit, humid, 12 miles per hour in if the roof is open, which I don't know. Nate Dogg says Colorado and over tonight. And Robert Cherry maybe going back to the well with Kyle Seager plus 380 and Juan Soto plus 290 says if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Polo this, Polo that also got it at 3.5 at -128. Puzzler, though, would lean under. Let's go. Start with Chichi. Chichi Gonzalez, 2-3, 4.84 ERA, 1.39 whip, 48 in the third, 25 Ks, 14 walks, 6 home runs. In his last start, he went 4 in the third, allowed 7 hits, 3 runs, 0 home runs, 1 walk, 1 K, and a 9-5 loss at home versus the A's. Going up against Trevor Rogers. Trevor Rogers, 6-3, 1.97 ERA, 1.09 whip, 68 and 2/3, 81 Ks, 24 walks, and 3 home runs. In his last start, he went 6 innings, allowed 4 hits, 2 earned runs, no homers, 2 walks, 5 Ks, and 8-7 extra inning loss at the Pirates. The Rockies smashed lefties. It's the only thing that they're successful at this year. 276 with a 783 OPS. Marlins versus righties, 233, 671 OPS. Rockies bullpen has been a train wreck. And Coco Bongo says, don't talk like that to me. Avs winning time on the Avs plus 115 money line and 3 goals with no reply. No. Oh, 3 goals. That's not going to happen at -105. Jerry Beatty. Oh, look, the Avs are a talented team. And then, okay, I can't wait to talk about the game. Okay, we're going to go through. Let's just, Marlins bullpen 3.80 ERA, 1.18 whip, converted 11 of 27 save opportunities. That's a terrible, terrible closing rate, even though the bullpen is pretty good. Okay, so we've seen the market move. Let's go to baseball data here and see what we are dealing with, batter versus pitcher. The TAINT play today here is on the first 5 over 4. They've never seen Rogers, and Chichi's only been seen for 2 at-bats. Okay, well, let's follow the cash here. Let's follow the cash. We have 82% of the money line bets on Miami and 70% of the money line cash. So tickets 82, cash 70. And then we have 79% of tickets on the over and 97% of cash on the over. Interesting. Steve Priest says Trevor Rogers and a first 5 over is scary. Wow. And how big of a market move has gone just to Trevor Rogers then? Opening up at -184, now -201, so a 17-cent move towards him. This total was initially juiced to the over. It's now juiced to the under. Why would that be? Let's go over this money again. You have 96 now. It goes down to 96% of cash on 3,543 tickets. So a small sample size on the over, and it moves towards the under. Wow. Wow. Okay, I need more time to sit with TAINT and to figure out the market move there, and maybe for a few more tickets to come in. I mean, Marlins are just 233, 671 OPS. And we know that against righties, we know the Rockies smash lefties. So why wouldn't the Rockies be a look maybe first 5 because Trevor Rogers is so good? Frank Fontano, I can't wait to talk about that. NBA is coming up right after MLB, and we only have a few games left. Next up, 7:10 p.m. Eastern, Houston Astros, 35-26, 15-13 on the road. At Boston Red Sox, 37-25, 17-15 at home. And this brings us to my son Jose's play of the day. He has started this week with a winner on Tuesday and a winner on Wednesday, getting his record to 6-7. Got it all here. Spreadsheet, ROI, average line, everything. But the main thing to focus on is back-to-back winners. Can he go for 3 straight? This calls for a little say hey play of the day from our man, Jose. Running hot right now. Jose, how are you, my man?
Jimmy, I'm doing all right, hanging in there, relaxing. I appreciate all the love for the graphics that I've gotten today. I went to sleep. I woke up at 3 a.m, and Jimmy, I'll be honest with you, I had a literal dream, and I made these graphics at like 5 a.m, so that was fun.
Nice, man. Well, there you do such a great job on the 1s and 2s for this show. Very thankful to roll with you, and you're starting to run hot. I want you to sweep the week, baby. I want you to sweep the week. We're talking Astros, Red Sox here, and those of you who know Jose knows that he loves the Red Sox, and he knows them intimately. Fenway Park, Boston, Massachusetts, are 17-15 at home. Strange home record for a team that's 12 games over 500. Going up against the Houston Astros, 35-26, 15-13 on the road. 64 Fahrenheit, clear 8 miles per hour, sideways in. We have Greinke versus Rodriguez. Now, this was a spot where the market stopped me from betting the Astros. Why was money coming in on the Red Sox? Why is Greinke not a big favorite here? It was very confusing when we know that the Astros are hitting 288, 808 OPS versus lefties, and Rodriguez, although coming off a nice start against the Yankees, 5 1/3, 3 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 7 Ks, and a 7-3 win, has been terrible this year. So please, Jose, the ball is in your court. Shed some light.
Jimmy, I'm breaking one of the 7 cardinal sins of sports fanhood. It's written in the 10 commandments on the back, the 7 rules of fandom. And one of those rules is don't bet against your team. But, Jimmy, we're here to make money.
We are. We're
here to give the people winners. And like you said, Eduardo Rodriguez this year has been ass cheeks. Literal ass cheeks. This since the beginning of last month, comes into June, plays the shittiest team in baseball, the New York Yankees. So gets right there, but struggles against them. Struggles against everyone else is what I'm saying. So I don't understand the movement either, Jimmy. And I'm just gonna play an easy team total here, Jimmy. It's got to be Astros team total. I've seen them at plus 105. I've seen them at even money. They're too good, Jimmy. It's what I'm saying. They have the Red Sox number. I've watched all of these games that they've played in the last 2 weeks. Been to 2 of them now, and it's their offense has been ridiculous. And the Astros are a team that you have to have your power pitchers against them. You have to have your aces, your dogs against them. That's why a team like Tampa Bay can beat them in the playoffs, because they've got those front end starters, and their hitting isn't as good, but the Astros pitching hasn't been great either, and the bullpen sucks. So I'm all over the team total today, though. I just haven't seen anything from Eduardo Rodriguez against a big opponent like the Astros to prove to me that he can go out there and throw 5 shutout innings. I just don't think that's true. And every game this series, it feels like the Astros have just been bombing off the Red Sox. So keep it plain, keep it simple. Astros team total over 4.5.
Dan Kelly is a great point here. I'm going to pop it up on the screen. He says, Jose, you got that backwards. The rule is don't bet on your team. You can bet against them all day long if you like it, because there's no misguided bias in that bet.
Well, Dan Kelly, I have lost significant amounts of money on betting my favorite teams. And do I regret those bets? Yes. So
betting against your team, though?
No, betting on them.
Yes.
I have I won't show you guys, maybe another day, but I have a literal ticket from Biloxi when we went this past year. I put my largest bet ever on Oklahoma State against Oregon State in the NCAA tournament, and Cade Cunningham shoved it right up my hoop. So
Cade can do that. He's capable of doing that. Let's talk about this very interesting market here, which has kept me off of it. We have 69% of the money line tickets on the Astros and just 31% of the cash. 69% of the cash. Now, we're just talking 3,429 tickets, but that's surprising. Then we have 65% of the tickets on the over, and this just went up. Now 42% of the cash on the over. Why and how could money be coming in on the Boston Red Sox? The Astros are hitting 352 with a 1.095 OPS against Rodriguez. And then we have Greinke coming off a complete game shutdown of this very high-octane Toronto Blue Jays offense, and they're hitting just 233, 770 OPS against them. How does this – what's going on?
Do you think it's a Red Sox popularity thing? Do you think the Red Sox being such a popular public team that maybe they just start taking out money like, oh, they can't lose to the Astros 6 times in 8 games or whatever it is? Do you think it's something like that?
I just don't. No, I don't. I think it's very, very, very confusing, and I think your team total is an excellent way of doing it. And the only thing I think that would be better is a first 5 team total, because the Red Sox bullpen has been so good, so good.
They have been, but my issue here, I think they're a little overworked now. I mean, We've had last couple of days. My man, Big Dick Nate Eovaldi, had a decent, well, not really a decent outing. He struggled, and then the bullpen had to come in. And then game previous, Martin Perez again got shoved up his hoop. Bullpen had to come in, and I honestly, Jimmy, I think that they could get this 4.5 of Martin Perez or off Eddie Rodriguez in the first 5 innings. Like, I think if you have those kind of balls, you want to look at a higher first 5 total for a higher plus money price. I wouldn't even hate that. The Astros, they've come out swinging early, often, and scoring first almost every game. The Red Sox got fortunate last game to score first. It took a Hunter Renfroe play at the plate for them to not score the first run again. So I just really think the Astros are just going to take advantage early.
The team total of 4.5 is juiced to -120 at Bet365. So you got a better look at your book. What is it?
I had it at even money. I was going to look at Bovada right now to check your first 5 team total. At Bovada, it is. Let me tell you. Oh my goodness, Bovada's thing is so messed up. Let me tell you, I can't even find it right now. But the first 5 team total line, if you want to go 3.5 at plus 205, I don't hate that at all either. So
what are you making official here for the show?
First 5, team total. Astros team total 4.5. I like I said, I really do think they could score that many runs off of Eddie in 5-6 innings. So I just give myself that insurance of going the full 9 and just back the best offense in baseball. They've been riding hot. They're in a big fuck you tour right now.
Extremely interesting. And when the market confused me like this, I'm just going to stay off. Although it just makes so much sense. But when the market throws me a curveball, I'm better off just stepping back. Jerry Beatty says, what are the Sox hitters numbers against Greinke? Oh, I'll pull that up. And by the way, Weston was asking, did Jimmy ever play in Milwaukee, Cincinnati? Yes, I'm on the first 5 under 4.5 at -120, but it's at 4 now, and I wouldn't take it at 4. I wouldn't take the under at 4, so I'm not much help there. So
and we have a dirty K prop too.
Yes, I saw that. I've copied and pasted it. It's ready for the next game. Let's pull up the baseball data one more time. So they're hitting .233 with a .770 OPS first. Greinke 17 for 73. Hunter Renfroe 6 for 21 with 3 homers. Enrique Hernandez 3 for 12 with 2 home runs. But JD Martinez 4 for 16 with 1 homer. And that's where the hits stop. So yeah, I'm just gonna stick with this thing where if I'm sent very confusing signals by the market, I'll just stay away. There's lots of opportunities for me to make money on today's card. And if the Astros destroy Rodriguez, just like the Mets destroyed Harvey, and the market took me off of that, then maybe I'll start getting upset and not allowing it to happen. But right now, we have Jose's Say Hey play of the day. Team total over 4.5 at plus 100. Jose, thank you for your hard work. Sweep the wheat, baby.
I'll sweep the wheat just like the Red Sox did the Yankees. Just remember that.
And never forget hilarious shirt you're wearing, pal. Hilarious.
Well, now your abs have to win these next 2 games to, most importantly, Jimmy, win the dinner.
I thought you guys were eliminated first.
Well, it's about advancing farther in the.
Yeah, right. Okay. We move on. That was Jose Say Hey play of the day. Great guy doing spectacular work producing this show. Okay, let's move on to 8 p.m. Eastern. We have Toronto Blue Jays at Chicago White Sox. What a fascinating series. This has been a guaranteed rate field in Chicago, Illinois. We have Hyunjin Ryu going up against Dallas Keuchel. Sharpe says I was hearing most of the money on White Sox first 5 and the line isn't moving. It's hard to get the first 5 information with tickets out at this point, and I've stopped even trying to get them. So that's a tricky thing to figure out. But we have reached the extremely exciting and motivating Dirty K prop of the day. Dirty K prop of the day here. And we have Ryu over 5.5 Ks. Ryu is 2-3 to the number when facing a top 10 10 K percentage team. Sox are ranked 4th, striking out 25% of the time. In the last 10 days, they're number 1 at 40%. Ryu has had 6+ in 4 straight, then ran into the Astros, who are 28th in K percentage. Interesting look here from our Sharpe. Weston Tassel, we welcome you with open arms. Thank you for rolling with us, my friend. We have Ryu coming off a start at the Astros. 5 2/3, 6 earned runs, 2 home runs, 3 walks, 1 K, and a 13-1 loss. So you're telling me that the Astros are going to smoke Ryu and Eduardo Rodriguez is going to get through them? This is crazy shit. I mean, watching this market move to the Red Sox is just confounding. Dallas Keuchel on the other side, 4-1, 4.25 ERA, 1.29 WHIP, 65 2/3, 33 Ks, 19 walks, 9 home runs. When I watch Keuchel pitch, I believe he's vulnerable. And I lost on the Tigers' first 5 money line in his last start. He looked good. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned run, 1 home run, 1 walk, 3 Ks. In a 9-8 win at home versus the Tigers got to that White Sox bullpen. Blue Jays versus lefties, they smashed them, 255, 741 OPS. White Sox versus lefties, they smashed them, 278, 08 OPS. Blue Jays bullpen, 3.70 ERA, 1.29 WHIP, 11 of 18 converted save opportunities. White Sox bullpen, 3.73 ERA, 1.28 WHIP. They've converted 16 of 27 save opportunities. Let's move over to baseball data. We see only 3 White Sox batters have faced Ryu. They're 3 for 17 against him. 176, 458 OPS. Very interesting. And against Keuchel, 14 for 55, batting 255, 637 OPS. So both pitchers have looked good against the opposition. So what has the market done here? We see that this total opened up at 8.5 and moved to 9. Interesting. And Ryu opening up at -114 is now -108. So a 6-cent move towards the White Sox. So where's the money? We have 55% of the tickets on the White Sox and 72% of the cash. So that makes sense that the market's moving towards the White Sox. And for the total, we have 50% of the tickets on the total, so on each side, and 75% of the cash on the under. And yet it's moved to 9. Wow. All right. Hunter Engelhardt says, Rio worse on road, 728 OPS against right-handed batters. Facing this White Sox lineup is not a great position for a get-right game after Houston. Cherry on top is White Sox are 11-5, number 1 in MLB after a loss. Steve Priest says, Jays White Sox squeak under 9. And Hunter says, I'm on the White Sox first 5 innings money line. Keuchel's a ground ball pitcher. Jays struggle against pitchers who throw a lot of ground balls. Both Keuchel's stuff and wind suppress Jays' strength for long ball. That's a real sharp breakdown. Robert Allen says, White Sox tonight all day. First lefties, I take them Ryu or not. Don't care. And they're coming off a loss. Give me a mad White Sox team versus a lefty. Sharpe says, Miner, Skubal, and Ray all held the Sox in check the last 10 days. Don't tell me the Sox smashed left-handed pitching. Wild. Extremely interesting back and forth here from you guys. Puzzler leaning over first 5 and the game. Robert Allen says, I think Rio will be out of the game by the 4th inning sometime, and the White Sox will win big tonight. And North Ender supporting Sharpe's last thing, saying 100% fact, Sharpe. So this is a stay-off spot again for me. So we have 3 bets on the afternoon games, and we have made no additions so far in the late games. I did not expect this. I was expecting to make a move. I needed to talk out the Astros game. Okay, let's move on. Let's roll on. We move on to the New York Yankees at Minnesota Twins, 8:10 p.m. Eastern, Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yankees are 33-29, 16-13 on the road at Minnesota Twins, 24-37, 12-19 at home. We're at Target Field, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 94 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 5 miles per hour, sideways out to left. We have Michael King on the bump for the Yankees. 0-3, 3.62 ERA, 1.28 WHIP, 27 1/3, 25 Ks, 10 walks, 3 home runs. Frank Fontano, my afternoon picks. Now, again, the market moves are incredibly important here. So I got the Reds Brewers first 5 under 4.5. It's now at 4. I wouldn't take it there. I got the over 9 in the Tigers Mariners game. It's now at 9.5. So I wouldn't take it there. And I'm on the Mariners money line. And there's been a clear market move with the betting towards the Tigers. So all 3 of my bets come with a caveat attached, unfortunately. Okay. Nate Dogg says, I'm seeing Greinke 2-5 versus Boston. I don't think the win-loss record is a fair example, really. I mean, clearly people are looking at that, but the win-loss doesn't really give us enough information. All right, we got Slick Rick the Rula in the house too. Okay, so Michael King's last start was at home versus the Red Sox. He got touched, 4 earned runs, 6 hits, and 5 in the third. J.A. Happ on the other side, 3-2, 5.61 ERA, 1.32 WHIP, 51 in the third, 37 Ks, 16 walks, 8 home runs. In his last start, 5 innings, 9 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 home runs, 0 walks, 2 Ks, and a 6-5 loss at the Royals. Yankees are hitting 240, 698 OPS versus lefties, while the Twins are hitting 239, 737 OPS versus righties. Yankees bullpen, good, 3.16 ERA, 1.10 WHIP, converted 16 of 21. That actually is coming down a little bit. Or excuse me, going up a little bit. Their bullpen had a great start to the year. And then the Twins bullpen, 4.62 ERA, 1.37 WHIP, have converted 14 of 23 save opportunities. Let's move over to baseball data here. The Twinkies have never seen Michael King. And J.A. Happ against these Yankees, 232, 863 OPS, and they know Happ well. Judge has 2 home runs in 10 at-bats, 4 for 10. Stanton, 2 home runs in 12 at-bats. Gardner, 2 home runs in 10 at-bats. They know J.A. Happ. Interesting. Yankees open up at minus 129 to now minus 133, a 4-cent move towards them. This total's gone from 10.5 to 11. 94 Fahrenheit, hot in Minnesota. I want to back the Yankees, but I don't trust Michael King. Let's see where the money is. We have 76% of the tickets on the Yankees and just 51% of the cash on the Yankees. So 24% of the tickets on the Twins, but half of the money. Then we have 53% of the tickets on the under and 62% of the cash on the under. Crew Jude says, how do people feel about betting the over while pitchers are being watched for cheating? I think it's a good time to do it. And Robert Cherry figuring out his jack of the day. MMA locker room, our man Mills in the house says Stanton heating up. Go Yankees. Said he told you to take Cole. Yeah, you were absolutely right there. Michael Knuckles says, I'm going back to the Yankees team. Total tonight they're going to smack Happ. Maybe that's the smartest way of doing it. But we have a high total. Let's just see what the first 5 is quickly if we want to fade both these guys. And again, I should have done this earlier. Pinnacle's already moved it to 6.5. None of the other books have. What is the Red Sox at? Here. Sorry, what is Bet365 at here? They're at 6. Weston says team total for Yankees is great or alternate spread. Okay, a move should be made here. And 6 is just such a high. I mean, are we going to get 7 runs in the first 5 innings? It's just the market knows that these pitchers are vulnerable, and they're putting up a very high number. Yankees team total at 5.5. I have a rule about 5.5 that I don't go over them. My ROI is not good enough. North Ender says I'm a big Happ guy, but starting to really lean Yankees. Some big bets have been made on the Minnesota Twins. MMA Mills says I don't like pitching. King pitching 0-3 and does not throw heat. Jerry Beatty says Twins pen is a gas can full of premium unleaded. And DC says Yankees Dodgers still stalking down the backstretch. Michael Knuckles says Yankees getting hot. I really see them scoring 6 or 7 tonight. Agree though, the team total is high. Jorge Gonzalez says King is bad and Yankees smash against Minnesota. Even game over easy. Yeah. Yes, I hear that. And I'm alarmed to see that 65% of the cash, just 2,300 tickets, so let's not get overwhelmed, is on the under. I'm surprised. And money coming in on the Yankees as we speak. They now have 77% of the tickets and 54% of the cash. And I don't trust Michael King. I mean, that's the problem. Eric Jones, the taint is the first 5 over 4 in Marlins Rockies, and the taint is at 4 straight. Christian Rivas, I see the ticket count at Sports Insights. It's an expensive. Well, I mean, it's not expensive if you consider how much we're betting. But, you know, it can cost about $1,000 a year. Okay, so Yankees Minnesota Twins. Again, I've got mixed messages here. And the first 5 over 6, I think, is the best way to handle it. So if the first 5 over 6 is available to me, I'm going to bet that. Let me just and we have the Pamper Pop parlay of the day with the plays, the pays. Kyle Seager plus 300 for a home run. Yankees first 5 minus half at plus 100 from our man Robert Cherry. Yeah, no, Christian Rivas, you're absolutely right. It's not expensive. It's a drop in the bucket for how much we're betting. You're absolutely right. Okay, I'm very close to moving on first 5 over 6. You're right, Thick Dick. You're right. Especially after a 7-0 day, I will not do that, and I apologize. We moved to 9:40 p.m. Eastern, and we got lots of time. This is the last game on the MLB card, so don't worry. We have lots of time for Gogster. Kansas City Royals, 29-31, 13-16 on the road at Oakland A's, 37-26, 19-17 at home. Oakland Coliseum, Oakland, California, 58 Fahrenheit clear, 14 miles per hour out to center. We have Mike Minor going up against Frankie Hard Toss Montas. Minor 4-3, 4.84 ERA, 1.21 whip, 67 innings, 73 Ks, 23 walks, 11 home runs. In his last start, he went 7 innings, allowed 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 home runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks, in a 5-4 loss at home versus the Twins. Frankie Montas, 6-5, 4.52 ERA, 1.41 whip, 63 2/3, 65 Ks, 18 walks, and 11 home runs. In his last start, he went 5 innings, allowed 6 hits, 3 earned runs, no homers, 1 walk, 2 Ks, and 9.5 win at the Rockies. Royals are hitting .238 with a 693 OPS versus righties, and the A's are hitting lefties harder and harder every day. 244, 753 OPS. Royals bullpen 3.94 ERA, 1.34 whip, converted 14 of 22 save opportunities. They're moving in the right direction. The A's bullpen 3.79 ERA, 1.27 whip, converted 16 of 22 save opportunities. Minor versus Montas. The first 5 totals gone from 4.5 to 4. And full game here, we have the A's opening up at minus 145. They're now minus 147. And the total was slightly juiced to the over, and it's now juiced to the under. Steve Priest saying Frankie not as good without that juice. Yeah, we're seeing that. All right, let's go to baseball data, see if that will help us here. Mike Minor. The A's are hitting .221 with an 828 OPS. So low batting average, but 8 home runs in 86 at-bats. 19 for 86, but 11 of those 19 hits for extra bases. Against Montas, 209, 570 OPS. He shut down this Royal squad, 9 for 43. Nate Dogg leans KC Moneyline. I lean towards the Oakland A's. But they're just 19-17 at home this year. It's not a spot where we can count them to cash. MMA locker room, our man Mill says, I got Minor over 6.5 Ks. He's been hitting K props all season long. Let's see where the cash is here. We have 77% of the tickets, 79% of the cash on the A's, and only a 2-cent move. That's alarming. 67% of the tickets and 76% of the cash on the over, and it's moving towards the under. Robert Cherry says, full game over. Both bullpens suck and are exhausted. Safe play of the day, take the over. Okay. So I am only adding one bet to my evening card, and that is the first 5 over 6. It's available at minus 115 at Bet365. When this show ends and I go to bet it, if it's at 6.5, I will not bet it. I want it at 6. I want the push at 6 and the win at 7. I don't want the loss at 6 and the win at 7. There you go. And since we've gone on this winning streak where 25 of our last 30 bets we've cashed, and that's off a 2-2 day yesterday, my quantity of action's gone down. So my first action pops off in 16 minutes. That is the first 5 under 4.5 in Brewers Cincinnati Reds. Then I doubled up on the Mariners-Tigers game, Mariners and the full game over. And then I close up shop with the first 5 over 6 in Yankees Twinkies. So we have the TAINT play of the day on the over 4 in the Rockies Marlins game. We have Jose on the Astros team total over 4.5 at plus 100. And then we have the Dirty K prop Ryu over 5.5. There we go. Very, very interesting 10-game slate. All right, we move on to NBA, and I'm just so aggravated that I didn't hit or bet the under in last night's basketball game. I know they erupted in the fourth quarter for meaningless buckets and almost cost the under bettors, but I've hit 9 of my last 10 in NBA, and I've had a tough season, and I don't know why I was a deer in the headlights like an ass yesterday and didn't pull the trigger. Let's get into NBA, 2 fascinating games. Then we'll bring on Mr. Gogster. We start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, East semifinals, Game 3. Brooklyn Nets at Milwaukee Bucks. Nets are 48-24, 20-16 on the road at Milwaukee Bucks, 46-26, 26-10 at home. We're at Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have the market here. Let's move over and discuss. We have Milwaukee opening up at -3.5, and they're at -3.5, and the first 4 has hit the board from Heritage. Now, it looked like this was going to go down to 3 at one point. Did Pinnacle ever move it to 3? Yes, they did. Pinnacle moved it to 3 at 1:47 a.m. yesterday. It stayed at 3 for 14 hours. And then 2:34 p.m. yesterday, it went up to 3.5. I've moved on the Milwaukee Bucks plus 3.5. And looking back at it, I probably would have should have taken the money line, and I almost this morning added another bet on the money line. There's Nilo, no problem, my man. And Michael Knuckles says, man, I was one of the fools to take Denver last night. There were a lot of sharp, very sharp bettors on the Nuggets, and we saw the market indicate that too, because the public was on the Suns and it went down to 5, and that market move didn't go back to 6 until 2 hours before game time. Nate Dogg, no, Brooklyn money line is Brooklyn's -3.5, so Johnny K says feels like a trap. Let's break it down and we'll discuss it. Now, look, this could easily be the situation that the Nuggets had yesterday. I'm not going to sit here extremely confident telling you, look, I'm going to cash this Bucks ticket. They're going to bounce back like they've been doing all year. Because clearly the Brooklyn Nets are a very good basketball team. And KD ain't nothing to fuck with. Nets pace in the regular season, 100.27. Nate Dogg says, wow, it's changed. It's not changed. Oh, shit, what am I talking about? Sorry, what am I saying? Bucks plus 3.5. I'm tripping out. What the hell am I talking about? Yeah, sorry, I'm tripping out. Yes, -3.5. Sorry, you guys. Nets are plus 3.5. Sorry, I bet -3.5. Sorry, I don't know why in my head. Sorry, too many games I'm looking at. Yes, I have the Bucks -3.5. Okay, sorry, I don't know what the hell was going on there. Okay, let's go back to it. Bucks, Nets regular season pace 100.27 possessions a game. Playoffs 97.43 possessions a game. And I apologize about that. Yeah, of course you're getting plus money on the Nets. My fault. I mean, look, the Nets were just 20-16 on the road during the regular season. I know it's a different beast here. Okay. And Robert Cherry has degenerate action on Novak Djokovic, right? Plus 3.5, plus 120 for men's tennis. Bucks pace in the regular season 102.85 possessions a game. It slowed down 2 possessions to 100.01. I was interested in whether the Bucks would want to speed up the pace here and not let the Nets dictate everything now that the Bucks are at home. We know that Harden will miss Game 3 with the hamstring injury. He missed 20 of 21 games late in the season. Bruce Brown looked good in Harden's place, 13.6 boards, 4 assists, and he does a lot of the dirty work for KD and Kyrie. KD and Kyrie, by the way, 8 of 14 from 3 in Game 2, and they go for 54 points. Jeff Green also out with plantar fascia. So the Nets dominate the first 2 games. We all saw it. Nets were dominant. The Bucks lost just 4 times by 20 or more points in the regular season. 4 times. Each time, they came back and won by an average of 18.8 points. The last time the Bucks lost 2 in a row, they bounced back to sweep the Sixers. We all remember that pretty late in the regular season in a 2-game set. The Nets are shooting 44.4% from 3. The Bucks have made 14 of 57 from 3, 24.6%. Clearly, the Bucks have been buckling under the pressure of this huge game, but they also had a long break. They swept the Nets. No Bucks player has made more than 3 threes in the playoffs so far. We know that Chris Middleton steps up. We've seen him do it often. And he's 3 for 13 from 3. Drew Holiday, 3 for 9. Now, the Bucks have never rebounded from a 2-0 deficit to win a postseason series. So I'm not sitting here saying the Bucks are going to come back and beat the Nets in the series. I'm just saying I like them here. Gas Station says Bucks first quarter seems like the play. It does. Bucks first quarter seems like the play. Let's take a look to see where the money is here in this spot. 19,000 tickets in. So we have a nice little base of cash here. On the spread, 32% of the tickets on the Bucks and 31% of the cash on the Bucks. And it's moving in the Bucks direction, the odds. On the money line, 79% of the tickets on the Nets, but just 38% of the cash. Clearly, big bets are being made on the Bucks. On the total, you have just 46% of the tickets on the under, but 75% of the cash on the under. So big bets being made on that. So what does that tell you? That tells you that there are some sharps out there who don't believe, either they don't believe the Bucks are going to speed the pace up, or they believe that Brooklyn may lay an egg here. Turnsy says, I don't understand the price. They're just begging you to take the Nets blindly at a plus price. John Garcia says zigzag theory. Raymond Reichard says, I'm telling you, the Bucks need to be perfect. There's no room for error. I'm on the Bucks minus 3.5. I believe I just got that a regular minus 110 juice. And I think Gas's look on the first quarter makes a ton of sense. Platinum Paul says over 234 is the safest play. We know Milwaukee has to play better offensively, which means more points either way. See, do they have to play better offensively, or do they have to defend the perimeter with reckless abandon? They have to do both. Let's do chaos in the house. Gas Station says, always remember that the NBA officials have huge cash incentives to extend the series. Rick the Ruler says, real question is, do the Nets even care about this game? Robert Allen says, Milwaukee first half is the play. Harden is out, Michael Knuckles. Nate Dogg says, when have the Bucks competed in this series? Look, they got beaten badly. But it almost, and I'm not going to do it, but it almost feels like a Bucks first quarter, first half, full game for me. You know they're going to come out huge. Let's just see what they are first quarter here very quickly. We cashed both first quarters 2 games ago. Yeah, -2. I don't dislike it at all. Nate Dogg says Bucks can't finish. Brooklyn seems to be stronger at times when one of the big three is out. Oh, but either Harden or Kyrie, because Durant's got to be there. Yeah, I'm not going to – I've hit 9 of my last 10 NBA, and I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to take the Bucks full game -3.5. I'm not going to add first quarter. But if this was earlier in the year, maybe I go for a big score here. Astute Chaos says Bucks can't cope with Brooklyn firepower, but everyone is undervaluing their defense. CKOH MMA says Bucks at home will show some heart tonight. It's coming down to the wire, and Giannis drops 35+. MMA Locker Room says first half over 119. Bucks average 66 points at home. You know, a Bucks team total, first half team total is interesting. Let's just see what it is. And first half Team total 61.5. Dan Kelly says, I will be on Bucks if they get down early. Michael Knuckles says, I don't see Bucks getting swept. I know the Nets are obviously the better team, but I think the Bucks steal one tonight. And Jerry B says, I'm with Gas. If Bucks don't drop their nuts first quarter, it's over. I'm not going to double up. I agree with Gas too. I'm not going to double up though. I'm just going to bet on the Bucks full game -3.5. All right, let's move on to game 2 at Utah. And this is the one I really wanted to talk out because I want to back the Jazz. There's Ski Profit says, Bucks more turnovers and assists last game. Look, big-eyed too. Don't like that. Milwaukee going to have to make me a believer. Yeah, no, that makes sense, Ski. They seem a little overwhelmed. KCOH MMA says the key is to allow Durant to go off, but Kyrie and the rest get shut down. Bucks win by 10. Nice to have Ski Profit rolling with us. Let's move on to West Semifinals Game 2. Utah leading the series 1-0. Clippers 47-25, 21-15 on the road at the Jazz, 52-20, 31-5 at home at Vivint Smart Home Arena in Salt Lake City, Utah. Let's take a look at what the market is here. It was 3, and it still is. Utah opening up as 3-point favorites. There's been a 1-cent move towards them at Pinnacle, but it had gone up to at just after midnight this morning. It had moved up to -110, and it was at -110, and the Clippers were at -101, -110 till 5:18 in the morning. Money has come back in on the Clippers. Well, we'll check. We'll go to Sports Insights and see where exactly the cash is. I want to back the Jazz here, and my thinking is that the Clippers' second game here in elevation is when it will affect their legs. That in the second half of the game, Utah will take over regardless of Conley being in the lineup. Dan Kelly says 2 situations in the NBA tonight. Bucks desperate and Clippers should bounce back after following form exactly as Tuesday's situation dictated, coming off a 7-game series versus rest of the Jazz. Michael Knuckles says, love the Jazz tonight. And Raymond Reichart on Brooklyn. Ski Profit says that was last game. One thing that I've always felt in sports was it's the second game that you get affected by the most. But we've certainly seen that not come to fruition. Ski Profit on the over 222. This over is being moved quite quickly. Let's move over to the total. Yeah, it was at 223 when I started the show at my book and at Pinnacle, 222.5 at the other books. Okay, let's go. Regular season pace for the Clippers, 97.63 possessions a game. They've slowed it way down in the playoffs, 92.88 possessions a game, but their efficiency is just incredible. Robert Allen also on the over, North Ender on the over. Jazz pace in the regular season, 99.37 possessions a game. It dropped a point to 98.83, but the series is being run sort of at the Clippers pace, playoff pace at 93 possessions a game. The Jazz missed 20 straight shots in a row at one point in the first quarter, were rusty, and as Dan Kelly said, he took them live at +6.5. Donovan Mitchell, 32 of his 45 points in the second half. He did it while being sick. 16 of 30, 6 threes, 11 of 17 in the second half. Kawhi Leonard, 23 points, and was a game worst -12. Shocking. Dan Kelly says Lakers were spent going in the second half on Tuesday. The Clippers were spent going into the second half on Tuesday. I will be on the Clippers at some point tonight. Steve Priest going back with Mitchell points over again. Stu Chaos says, my whole thing is that Jazz live and die by the threes. If they don't make them, it's cooked for the over. Coco Bongo on Rudy Gobert, over 13.5 points. And Michael Knuckles says Kawhi is a no-show more often than not. There's no those in the house. Okay, so 2 things here. And I guess the way talking it out and the way our NBA experts see it, that I'm probably off on this, thinking that it's going to be the second game in elevation where these Clippers' legs are exhausted, saying that happened in the first game. Kawhi Leonard, 23 points, game worst -12. I don't expect that to happen 2 games in a row. Paul George, 4 for 17 from the field for 20 points. I can't vouch for George stepping up here. And look, Kawhi showed last year in the playoffs that you can't always count on him. Jerry Beatty, I'm going to bring up the player props here in a second. Now, George said it's not an excuse. We were lethargic. So he expects them to step up. Robert Allen says playoff P needs to be the third option. Reggie Jackson needs to be a second option. He needs to shoot more for the Clippers to win. Von Polo on the Jazz. Okay. So we move on to where the cash is in this spot. 9,000 tickets in. We have on the spread 55% of the tickets on the Jazz, 54% of the cash. On the money line, 21% of the tickets on the Jazz, 48% of the cash. And here is the big, the tricky thing for everyone to compute here. And I'm not saying that it should completely dictate anyone's action, but we have 67% of the tickets on the over and only 10% of the cash on the over. So there's clearly been some monster bets made on the under. And it's tricky. It's very tricky when you read that. Let's move over to player props. Move over to player props. We have KD at 32.5, juice to the under. Kyrie at 28.5 at a pick'em. Giannis at 32.5, heavily juiced to the over, minus 140. Drew 19.5. Chris Middleton, and that 19.5 is juiced to the under, pretty strong. Chris Middleton at 22.5. And we already had a look from our guy Anthony Witherspoon on Claxton over 3.5 points at minus 135. Wow. Oh, shit, I'm looking at the Brooklyn game. What the hell's wrong with me? Let's go to the Jazz. Fuck, man. George at 23.5 at a pick'em. Kawhi Leonard at 27.5, heavily juiced to the over, minus 150. Gobert at 13.5. Donovan Mitchell at 30.5, juiced to the under. And then with threes, we have Paul George at 2.5, juiced to the under. Kawhi at 1.5, heavily juiced to the over, heavy at minus 175. And Donovan Mitchell, 3.5, juiced to the under. And wow, leadoff home run from Mookie. What a monster he is. Okay, there we go. There we go. And Robert Allen saying Conley is back. Do we have a confirmation that Michael Conley is back? Injury update. I still have questionable game 2. Does anyone have anything different? All right. Turnsy says I'm going back to the well on Giannis over rebounds tonight. Would have cashed easily last game without the blowout. I want to bet the Jazz here. I expect the Clippers to be going down 2-0. But and I really don't think I have any reason to be that scared. It's tough to play in Utah. 31-5. The gas station says ref's going to try to extend this Bucks-Nets series. Do you think that fuels the over? Sterling Gentry says Brook Lopez is being clutch from 3. All right. I'm not moving on the Jazz yet, but I plan on moving on the Jazz. I do. Robin says the Jazz and Suns are 1 and 2 in the West. A lot of people thought that wasn't real, or not true. But the reality is they're really the 2 best teams in the West right now. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough. I think Utah got the rust off. Dan Kelly says if Conley goes out there and he looks like AD did, he'll be on the Clippers. Look, I don't know if I need Conley here yet. Let's bring him back game 3. And Dan Kelly says I will be on Clippers money line. Wow. I have no reason to force things, and I also can wait. Oh, I'm sorry that happened, Transy. It's awful. So I'm not gonna move yet. If Dan Kelly's on Clippers money line, I guess, I guess I can make a decision and see how the night's going. All right. Let's bring in the star of yesterday's show. We move on to the National Hockey League Game 6. Colorado Avalanche at Vegas Golden Knights. And Belleville's finest, Mr. Gogster, lit up and smoked last night's game. Let me just review what our man, Mr. Gogster, did yesterday. New York Islanders money line at plus 122 cash. New York team total over 2.5 at plus 115 cash. New York Islanders race to 3 goals at plus 210 cash. Both teams to score in the third period at plus 170 cash. Full game over 5.5 at plus 125 cash. Pajot over a half point at plus 118. I know that cash in the first period. And I believe Palmieri must have cashed because they said he went 7-0, but I don't have that in front of me. Gogster, did Palmieri cash as well for you? See, you get a nod?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He got like the third, fourth goal there. He notched one in the back of the net, playing a real gritty game. But yeah, just unbelievable game or showing last night, guys. That was something for the ages.
7+ spots, Mr. Gogster. And you cash them all.
Thanks, guys. What? Hey, man, just been rolling with you guys. Wait till you guys get our guy Pete Loshek back on Tuesday. This guy, Jimmy and Pete, I came up with these guys a long time, so it's a real treat having them back. You guys are going to learn a lot. Getting those plus money, it's what it's all about.
Unbelievable work. Let's see if we can keep that shit rolling, Gogster. Welcome back to the show. Second round, Game 6, Avalanche, Golden Knights, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Mm-hmm. Mark Stone,
thanks, guys,
with the overtime winner,
Stoney,
was amazing. And this is what they said about him afterwards. He's the heart and soul on this team. He wears his character on his chest. He's the captain we've always wanted.
Yeah. He's a beauty.
Huge goal.
He's a great guy. He's a real leader. Remember him in Ottawa? Jeez, I miss him in Ottawa, man. He was a star player. I used to caught a couple games back in the day when he was there, and Vegas got a steal.
And with 8+8.6, I can't remember exactly what it is, but when they signed that contract, I was like, that's too much. But
yeah,
Vegas opening up at minus 137, Gogster now at minus 128. So a market move towards the Colorado Avalanche. This is the first time they've been at dog money all playoffs long.
Yeah.
The total opening up at 5.5, juice to the under at minus 120, has not moved. Mr. Gogster.
Mr.
Before
Bag.
we do another spots on this game, let's hear how you plan to attack it.
Well, this one didn't come as easy as yesterday. Yesterday, I was just kind of boom, bang, bang, firing them off left, right, and center. We got a good laugh. Today, it was a tougher card. Grubauer and Fleury here. It's not so much the issue with the goalies, guys. It's more so, in my opinion, the forwards for the Colorado Avalanche. They haven't been the same. I'm looking at these lines, Jim. I don't know what's going on with these lines. You got Saad, McKinnon, and Rantanen. I don't remember Saad playing line with those two. Landeskog with Kemper and Nishkinen. Landeskog with him is a little bit of a curveball. Then you got O'Connor, Yost, and Burakovsky. Then you got Donskoy in the fourth line with Belmire and Newhook. What the hell is Donskoy doing on the fourth line? That only got 6 minutes the last game. I don't know what's going on with Colorado. It seems like they're slipping up at the wrong time. Now they have to go to Vegas, where Vegas is really strong, guys. They've just been playing so much better hockey of late. Looking at their players here, who do we got? Pacioretty and Marchessault. They've been really strong in the regular season versus these two. 4 goals for Pacioretty, 2 for Marchessault. First period has been the only advantage for Colorado, Jim. 6 goals, 4 in the first, 2 for Vegas. That's the only way they've really had the edge. The second period in this series, they've only had 2 goals, Colorado. That's not a sign of a team that's going to win a series. You only scored 2 goals in the third period, where Vegas guys, they've scored 6. So it's tough. I want to take Colorado, Jim. At first I wrote down here, guys, was Colorado score first period, but I can't do it. What I can do, though, is I'm taking the first period. I'm going to take the draw. I'm taking first period draw. I don't see either of these teams going down after the first period. They don't want to go down Colorado, nor do Vegas. I don't know if it's going to be 0-0. I don't know if it's going to be 1-1. After all this research, putting together whatever comes up in my brain up top here, I came up with first period draw for this game here, and that's one of the plays in the first period. Plus 170. Just don't see either of these teams going down early. Could be 1-1, could be 0-0. That's why I don't want to touch the total. But yeah, first period draw is going to be the first one on the docket here.
Very, very, very interesting first look from Mr. Gogster, coming in hot, seeing things clearly. Mr. Gogster, I blame Jared Bednar.
He's a goof. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
No, you can.
Okay,
Look,
he's a goof.
I blame Jared Bednar. In overtime, they get that beautiful scoring opportunity 10 seconds in. They get the offensive zone face-off. Now, look, obviously, I come from the Vigneault Sedin's school of thought. Offensive zone face-off, clean ice. Why was McKinnon and Makar not on the ice?
Yeah, you're so right there. You don't think of that clean ice face-off in your own zone 10 seconds in. Yeah, 100%, Jim. The decisions, and just comes back to what I'm saying with these lines. I don't know what he's doing with these lines. You don't have Kadri, but other than that, it's pretty much the same team. You got fourth line with Donskoy. As Jim's saying, you're not having McKinnon and Makar. Makar's, he's pretty much like a forward, another forward for this team. And to not have him out. Looking at these time on the ice, too, Bendar went 15 minutes for the first two lines last game, 10 for the third, 6 for the fourth. Look at Vegas, guys, 14, 12, 10, 7, a little more balanced. Bendar, I don't know what he's doing, Jim. He looks like he's really relying on these first two. They're going to have to start going. It's really tough. Regular season, guys, this team didn't do anything. Only two points in 4 games in the regular season for all these players. No player had more than 2 points. So no players really got it going here in Vegas, where Vegas, they play great at home. It's been proven. If you look at the expected goals, too, for Colorado in the first 2 games on the road, Game 3, 2.15, and then Game 4, 1.71. So they're not getting it done. They didn't look damn good at all in that 6th game, Jim. After coming out so strong in the first 2, they just fell apart. They just collapsed like a cheap suit in that third period. And Vegas came to shine. So I'm going to go first period draw. I'm also going to go third period, both teams to score. Either one of these teams are down. I can see Vegas coming back even if Colorado is up. And then Colorado just not playing that offensive defensive style. They're just going to – that's another thing, guys. Colorado's not a good team playing defensively, Jim. They got to play with just keep scoring. They can't start playing slow. Like, that's kind of what they did. They're up 2-0 rather than just keep kind of putting the puck on the net, getting more chances. They kind of slowed it down. Bendar was saying he wants the offense to play more defensively, more accountable. I don't know if that's what they do, Bendar. I think they're more of a go-go team. They rely on their defense with Makar, Taves, Graves, Girard. I think this is more I lean to the overs, but I'm going to take first period draw, third period, both teams to score at plus 155. And more I think about this, guys, I'm going to have to take the full game over as well. I was going to take OT, Jim, but over 5.5, guys, that's going to be the third one. It's at plus 107.
I think that obviously if the Knights are ahead, let's say they're up 2-0 going into the third, you got a live bet overs.
Yeah, that's why I love that third period, both teams to score.
So, and then we know Babano, it's a heavily juiced bet, but Babano's had great success with third period overs in elimination games. MMA Locker Room is on Vegas.
So got to stay here, yeah.
Let's talk a little more about
tough game
the intangibles, because it feels like this Vegas team has all the intangibles. And when everybody was saying McKinnon was the best player in the NHL, I wasn't one of them, and I had a futures bet on Colorado. We're going to see his character tested here tonight, and he's not come through in shining colors.
No.
And the Golden Knights power play in the playoffs is at 14.8%, and their penalty killing is at 74.1%. If you had told me that those stats would be here, I would think, wow, the Avalanche beat them in the second round series. In my head, I've been saying, God, if Nazem Kadri could just be out there. And we know that the suspension is upheld, so if he comes back, he'll be back in Game 7, and that's a very difficult thing to do. But he had scored 1 goal in his last 28 games.
Keep going, Jim.
Well, that surprised me. I did not realize that he'd been so lackluster. I do think in the playoffs, in the very tough, tight checking playoffs is when he shines, but he also pulls his elbows out, knocks people out, and gets in huge amounts of trouble.
Yeah.
Spenny Pennybomb says flower power. And watching that sad goal with 0.8 seconds left in the first.
Oh, God.
And then having Marc-Andre Fleury just go like that. Don't worry. Like to the guys, don't worry. Don't worry. He's such a leader. And when we were watching the Avalanche, who outplayed Vegas for huge chunks of that game and had incredible scoring opportunities, not score. We just knew. We've watched hockey for so long. When you know your goaltender is stopping these incredible opportunities, you're like, oh, man, we're going to win this thing. We're going to score here. We're going to do it. And it's extremely difficult to trust here that there's going to be a bounce back. By the way, Fleury picked up his 88th playoff win, ties him with Billy Smith and Eddie Belfour for the fourth most in NHL history. 12th career playoff overtime win. He's only behind Tuukka Rask and Holtby among active goaltenders. Great. What I want to say is Vegas built, like Spenny says, for the playoffs? Do they have all the intangibles? And if so, and we know that Colorado is going to be so desperate, feels like a live bet on Vegas team total over after watching how maybe in like the second period or something, because at some point the Avalanche are going to be very desperate.
100%. You 100% broke that down to a T, Jim. Draw first period 0-0. Yeah, second, third period too. That's when Vegas have scored the most goals. 5 in the second, 6 in the third, only 2 in the first. So I really like that look. And the way these lines are going too for Vegas, I love what I'm seeing. Not to mention, guys, Holden and Whitecloud, they had the most amount of minutes last game, Jim. They had 18 total minutes on the ice there. That's their third line defense for Vegas. And they were able to hold the fort. So if their third line can do that too, the over is kind of a late addition, guys. My 2 plays I had originally down here is going to be first period draw, third period both teams to score, and kind of see how this game plays out. I want to take the over, but I think they're going to lay it on the line here, Jim. Colorado, they're going to give it everything they got defensively. They know they're not winning those 2-1 games. They haven't done it really all series. They're winning those games 4-1, 5-2, 5-3. They're going to have to get after Fleury. Grubauer's going to have to play well. He hasn't played that well in the last couple games either, which has not been a bit of a problem. But the more we talk about it, it sounds like a Vegas clincher here, guys. But I'm not going to take it. I'm going to hold off here. I'm going to do the third period, both teams to score, first period draw, and I lean towards full game over.
North Ender loving the breakdown. Diehard MMA says Patch ready over shots on goal, probably too. Patches has bothered me. It's amazing that the Knights had all the injury issues against the Wild and have had none against the Avalanche. It
seems like destiny, don't it?
It does.
Yeah,
it does. And I wish this was the Western Conference final.
Stanley Cup final, it feels like, don't it? Like it's
the way the Lightning are playing, and then the Islanders going through. But it should have been the Western Conference final, which would have given me easy opportunity to bet the Knights to win the cup. In any situation, which. Okay, so here, Turnsey says, real question: if Avs lose second round again, where do they go from here? And Dennis Garcia says, that Colorado buy low spot. The only way you can play is Colorado. So let me ask you this one question: do the Colorado Avalanche play their best hockey game tonight, or do you think that it's very possible that they buckle? And
I knew you were going to ask this question too, Jim. You know what? I'm gonna go. I like going against the grain, guys. It's for the better, for the worst. I'm gonna take Colorado here, even though it all makes sense. You guys maybe don't take this one, but I'm gonna take Colorado, Jim. And it's I almost want to. I don't know, guys. This is a buy low spot. This is the best point you could take them. As much as everything's leaning towards it, if they get Kadri back and they win this game, kind of I don't see this being like the Islanders, how the Islanders had Boston on the ropes. Everyone, I'm going to stay off this. I'm going to go both teams to score third period, first period draw. And anything can happen in that third period. I'm going to take Colorado, but I'm not going to bet them. That's where I'm leaning towards, guys. But I see this going 7 games. If you had to put a bullet to my head, that's what I'm going to say. Maybe the bullet goes through me. Maybe it doesn't. We'll see.
Wow. Very, very, very interesting. Gogster coming off a 7-0 day, all 7+ lines.
Yeah. Not that many games today, guys. We only got 2 picks today. You won't see many 7 in one game, Jim? That's hello.
It's incredible. And we will have Gogster jumping on the show if you can tomorrow to talk about the Islanders Lightning game on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. Same time, I'll be here.
And hopefully there's 2 games.
Damn right. Saturday. Damn right. Don't count that future out, Jim. Put that razor away. Don't even think about it.
All right. So Gogster's action is in baseball today.
You're right, Turnsy.
I'm on that first 5 under 4.5 with Castillo Peralta. The Brewers have scored in the first inning, but got through the meat of the lineup. I still think I can cash that at 4.5. I only have 4 bets in MLB. I've got 2 on the Mariners-Tigers game. I have the Mariners money line and the Mariners-Tigers over 9. Then and we're 25 of our last 30 we've cashed. That's after going.
Guys running hot, guys. Jimmy the Bag baseball. Unbelievable.
The taint play of the day: Colorado, Miami. First 5 over 4. Jose Seje play of the day is over 4.5 team total for the Astros. The Dirty K prop is Ryu over 5.5 Ks. And then my only addition is I'm adding the first 5 over 6. If it's still at 6 at my book, I'm going to add the first 5 over 6 in Yankees Twinkies.
Hello.
In NBA, I'm on the Bucks minus 3.5, and I could understand moving on them first quarter, but I'm just going to stay on the Bucks minus 3.5 full game. And I don't think I can take the Jazz when I see that Dan Kelly wants Clippers money line. So I think that I might have had it wrong, thinking that it was going to be game 2, that they'd really have heavy legs playing in elevation when clearly it showed in game 1, and the pro NBA cappers are saying game 1. Gigi says, where's the money in NHL?
Oh, yeah, the insight, Jim. We got to hear that insight.
We have 55% of the tickets on Vegas, 71% of the cash on Vegas, and a 6-cent move towards the Avalanche. So that bodes okay. On the total, you get no help. 52% of the tickets on the over, 53% of the cash on the over. That's with 6,632 tickets counted.
Yeah, total is tough. I might check out me on Twitter, guys. Ego47_. I'll tweet out my action for sure. Going to be 2 plays. The first period draw. Both teams will score a third period. Might do the full game over. Still not sure yet. Might even add Colorado. Who knows?
Well,
who do you got, Jim? You didn't tell us. What do you got in NHL? We're all waiting to hear.
Anything? I
Anything?
can't move on it. I'm going to lose my shit. I'm going to be really upset tonight, and I'll be alone in the dark. And I've already gotten a fight because on Friday I'm taking the family to Muskoka.
Oh, yeah. Just north of me.
And so the game starts at 9:00 at night. And so I've already been told, you don't be drinking all night watching this hockey game. And I'm like, what do you expect me to do?
Does she know about the dirty water?
Oh, she knows all about the dirty water. But I was like, you know what you got yourself into.
We've heard that before. That's right. That's right. That's great, Jim. No, enjoy the game here. I'm hoping it goes 7 games, guys. It's going to be a beauty tonight. Enjoy Muskoka, Jim. And, let's get that cash, guys.
I love it, Mr. Gogster. On behalf of Jose, who's doing such a great job with the graphics, we are just 5 days away from the return of Low Shack in the Bag. Mr. Gogster. Oh, and then head over right now to CMAC and Babano's big MLB show. Also, at 4:00, we have NBA Pop-Up, 4 p.m. Eastern, every day this week and every week. Ski Profit, Dutch Boy Fresh, Connor Mack, Babano, 4 p.m. Eastern every day. And then Razor Sharpe Picks, horse racing show tonight. Check it all out. Turnsy says Bigfoot will hear Jimmy screaming from the woods. Man, I would love. We have cable. I made sure we had cable for if there's a Saturday night game in the woods. Mr. Gogster, a spectacular job. Congratulations on your incredible performance yesterday. And can you let us out of here, my man?
Yeah, guys, as always, get that cash. We got a big one tonight. Hopefully we can come back tomorrow with some more cash, talk about Game 7, and Jimmy gets that future to keep going on, and that shaver stays up top shelf where it belongs. Anyways, guys, get that cash. Leche, Elos, bookmakers. Get that cash. Come on, we're not messing around today. Let's go.